Tonight, the launch of a new space mission, developments in the AI world, and an Australian runaway in Wisconsin. All that and more. This is Clemson News Now. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Gatsby Good.
And I'm Libby Smith. The month of April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, a month to bring communities together in support of children, safety, well-being, and development. Across South Carolina, organizations are using this month to remind everyone that protecting children is a shared responsibility.
The Children's Trust of South Carolina is leading statewide efforts to educate families, raise awareness, and strengthen resources that help prevent child abuse and neglect before they happen. Their training programs, community outreach, and partnerships with local agencies, the Trust works to ensure every child has the opportunity to grow in a safe environment.
This month, you'll notice blue pinwheels appearing in schools, yards, and parks all across the state. The pinwheel is a national symbol of hope, with people being encouraged to take part in local events, where to show support and learn more about how they can make a difference in a child's life.
April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. When families are strong, children are safe, and families are strongest when embraced by their communities. Businesses, child care providers, public safety agencies, medical professionals, schools, and our neighbors can use their strengths and resources to engage families in their communities. Be part of the community that supports making children and their families stronger and safer. We call this being a champion for children. Visit scchildren.org today to discover how child abuse prevention can build a better tomorrow.
The Children's Trust of South Carolina reminds everyone that prevention happens in partnership. By volunteering, spreading the word, or simply checking in on a family in need, each action contributes to a safer future for children. To find more information, visit scchildren.org.
At 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time, it was all systems go as Artemis II launched from NASA's Kennedy Space Center. Artemis II is a historic 10-day mission to circumnavigate the moon. While this mission won't result in a moon landing, this is the first time in over 50 years that astronauts will return to the moon's general vicinity. Artemis II carries 4 passengers: Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, Jeremy Hansen, who comes from the Canadian Space Agency. This crew has had a successful trip thus far, minus some quickly resolved issues with the toilet, and are set to return on April 10th.
In an incredible moment for the Tigers, 2 Clemson alum were involved in the launch: Charlie Blackwell Thompson and Vanessa Witch. Thompson, a 1988 computer engineering grad, serves as launch director of Artemis II and gave the go-ahead for the launch, while Witch, a 1985 and 1987 bachelor's and master's of science grad, has made history as the first African-American woman to serve as the director of the Johnson Space Center in Houston. Witch's team will gain control of the mission from the team at the Kennedy Space Center once Artemis II gets on track. We wish the crew and everyone involved safe travels and a successful landing back to Earth.
Golf legend Tiger Woods is facing legal trouble following a single vehicle rollover crash that occurred earlier this week. Authorities responded to the scene and reportedly found Woods showing signs of impairment, leading to his arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence. According to police documents, multiple prescription medications were discovered in the vehicle, including painkillers that may have contributed to the incident. Officials have not confirmed whether alcohol was a factor, but they have stated that Woods appeared disoriented when questioned at the scene.
The documents also indicate that Woods told deputies he was looking down at his cell phone and changing the radio station just moments before the crash and did not realize the vehicle in front of him had slowed down. Investigators say this distraction may have played a role in the collision, which resulted in his vehicle overturning.
Woods has since pleaded not guilty to the DUI charge and is expected to contest the allegations in court. This incident has raised concerns across the sports world, particularly given Woods' history of serious injuries and previous traffic-related incidents. Thankfully, no other vehicles were involved in the crash and no additional injuries were reported. The investigation remains ongoing as authorities continue to review evidence and release new details.
Staying in the sports world, Jordan York has all the updates you'll need to know on all things Clemson athletics. Jordan, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Gatsby. Starting on the diamond, Clemson baseball seems to be in an unfortunate slump, losing both 6 out of their last 7 games and their 3rd ACC series this season against the Miami Hurricanes. The Tigers were hoping to secure some crucial ACC victories, but after this weekend, they sit at 15th in the conference with a record of 2-7. There's still time for the Tigers to climb the rankings with a game against Wake Forest and a cross-country trip to take on the Stanford Cardinal. Moving over to softball, Clemson returned home from their trip to Columbia where they shut out the South Carolina Gamecocks in 6 innings for a 3-game series against 10th-ranked Florida State. The Tigers were swept by the Seminoles, but certainly did not go down without a fight. In the first matchup on Friday evening, Clemson's junior infielder Kylie Chanel had a SportsCenter top 10 worthy highlight when she fell catching a ball hit by Florida State and secured the double play, getting a foot on second before throwing to first, all that while still on her knees. On Tuesday, they handled Gardner-Webb 12-4, led by sophomore Corey Hicks with 2 doubles and a home run. The Tigers have another tough challenge to face this weekend as they travel up to Blacksburg, Virginia for a 3-game series against the 12th-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. Shifting gears, men's tennis is getting hot as they secured 2 conference wins last week, including a 4-3 win over Cal and an incredible 4-2 upset over 22nd-ranked Stanford. The win marks the Tigers' first win against the Cardinal in the program history and the first meeting between the two teams in 26 years. As for the women's team, they had 2 conference wins as well. Theirs came against the Florida State Seminoles and the Miami Hurricanes. Clemson's strong singles play is what led them to the victory against the Seminoles before they completely swept the Hurricanes. This weekend, the Tigers will travel up to North Carolina to take on both the 5th-ranked Tar Heels in Chapel Hill and the 24th-ranked Duke Blue Devils in Durham. Track and field had 2 meets this weekend. The Raleigh Relays, hosted by NC State, and Emory Thrills in the Hills in Atlanta. In Raleigh, Judy Koski moved to 3rd place in Clemson's all-time women's 1500 results, and Nancy Sharop placed 2nd and secured the 2nd spot on Clemson's top 10 list in the 5,000 meters. Clemson women's golf ended the regular season by hosting the Clemson Invitational Meet. The 16-team field was loaded with 7 top 30 teams, including number 8 Arkansas and number 4 Florida. The Tigers finished 11th as a team and were led by Isabella Rawl, Sydney Roberts, and Juliette DeMoe, hovering around the top 25 throughout the tournament. Clemson has just 2 more weeks before the ACC championships in Wilmington, North Carolina tee off on Thursday, April 16th. Next up, Clemson's highest-ranked team, women's lacrosse, are on a program record 7-game winning streak. The Tigers defeated the Virginia Tech Hokies in their military appreciation game on Saturday, with superstar freshman Alexa Spallina and junior Natalie Shirtleff both recording hat tricks with 4 goals each. Clemson roared through the first half and carried that momentum into the second to a 17-9 victory. They then dominated Davidson on Tuesday, where Spallina had a record-breaking performance with 13 points, setting new program and season records for both points and assists. Tomorrow, the Tigers meet the Bears in Berkeley, California for another critical ACC matchup. Finally, football was back for a brief moment at least in Death Valley on Saturday for the annual spring game. The Orange team secured the victory with a score of 23-3, largely thanks to their defensive line, which collected a total of 9 sacks. Orange team running back Gideon Davidson racked up 80 rushing yards, and likely starting quarterback Christopher Vizina went 4 for 4 in the second quarter, topping off his drive with an 8-yard touchdown pass to standout freshman receiver Gordon Sellers III, who secured the catch with one hand. And what is perhaps the biggest question that Tiger fans had might finally have a solid answer. After the game, head coach Dabo Swinney named Vizina as QB1 and freshman Tate Reynolds as number 2. And of course, I can't talk sports without mentioning March Madness. The Final Four has been set, and the action tips off tomorrow night for the women with a rematch of the 2025 National Championship, featuring the South Carolina Gamecocks facing the UConn Huskies. The winner will advance to the championship game, facing off against either the Texas Longhorns or the UCLA Bruins. And the men play on Saturday in Indianapolis, starting with a game between the Illinois Fighting Illini and the Yukon Huskies again, who advanced past Duke with a last-second deep three from Indy native freshman Braylon Mullins. That game will be followed by Michigan and Arizona competing for the other spot in the national championship game on Monday night. I don't know who's going to win, but I know I'll have my popcorn ready, and you should too. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Gatsby.
Thanks, Jordan. While it seems like new AI services are popping up everywhere, a certain AI company met its end last Tuesday. OpenAI announced that Sora, an app created for AI video generation, will be discontinued. The company said the reasoning for this shutdown was so OpenAI could focus on other projects, specifically robotic programs. The Sora app was built to generate videos based on single prompts entered by its users and made $1.4 million since its launch in 2024.
3 months ago, Disney entered into a $1 billion licensing deal with OpenAI, where Sora would have been able to use Disney characters to produce videos. Since the announcement of Sora's closure, this deal has also been terminated, and Disney said they will continue to engage with AI platforms to find new ways to meet fans where they are, while responsibly embracing new technologies that respect IP and the rights of creators.
In a pivotal moment for social media users, Google and Meta have been found guilty for intentionally creating addictive platforms. The young woman suing the companies was awarded $6 million in damages. After winning the case against social media platforms, she felt didn't do enough to stop kids and teenagers from becoming addicted and facing the harmful mental effects of social media Meta, which owns the app, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and Google, which owns YouTube, remain adamant against any wrongdoing and say they plan to appeal the case, which said the companies acted with malice, oppression, or fraud to keep people hooked on their social media sites.
Meta said in a statement that teen mental health is profoundly complex and cannot be linked to a single app. This comes a day after New Mexico jury found Meta liable for purposely hiding information on child sexual exploitation on its platforms. The company was required to pay $375 million to the plaintiff and faces increased criticism over its current policies, which many say don't do enough to stop teens and children from accessing harmful content. These victories over the social media giants reflect rising concerns over mental health problems caused by social media, and these landmark wins will likely enable others to bring their case to court.
Spring is in full swing, and with Clemson feeling the warmth, reporter Angelina Terry has the forecast for the week. Angelina, what do you have for us?
Good evening, Tigers. Here is your Clemson weekend forecast. Friday is shaping up to be a great start to the weekend with a high of 80 and a low of 60, plus just a few clouds. A perfect day to get outside. Saturday, we'll see a high of 77 and a low of 63 with a high chance of rain during the evening, so keep an umbrella handy, Tigers. Now wrapping up the weekend, on Sunday, expect a high of 70 and a low of 57 and yet a high chance of rain, but this time through the morning into the afternoon. And if you've been sneezing a lot lately, don't worry, it's not just you. The pollen is everywhere right now. Clemson basically is coated in it. But that's all I have for you this week. Back to you.
Thanks, Angelina. No, it's not an April Fool's joke. A runaway kangaroo has caused quite a stir in the Midwest after escaping from its home in Wisconsin. The kangaroo, named Chesney, was reported missing and quickly became the center of a community-wide search effort. Residents reported multiple sightings of the animal hopping through neighborhoods, fields, and even near roadways, raising safety concerns for both the drivers and the animal itself.
After several days on the loose, Chesney was successfully located and safely captured by authorities and animal handlers. Officials confirmed that the kangaroo was not injured and has since been returned to its owner. This unusual incident has prompted local officials to remind exotic pet owners of the importance of secure enclosures and proper animal care to prevent similar escapes in the future. While certainly out of the ordinary, the story has provided a lighthearted moment for many following its safe ending.
Well, Tigers, that wraps it up for this week. Join us next time as we cover the news you need to know. Nationally to locally, I'm Libby Smith.
And I'm Gatsby Good, Clemson News Now.